Come on board and join us for our Dreamboat Stories series, hosted by Captain George LaBonte, where we tell the stories of boaters just like you who have turned their wildest boating dreams into reality.
Mission Dreamboat, take one.
Oh man. On today's Mission Dreamboat, we're taking a look at that character's 25-foot, oh my God, what is that boat?
Parker.
I was about to say Seahawk. That was Adam Mellusi. Adam's a good friend of mine who I've known for his whole life. In fact, Adam's father and I have got a lot of history together. He was actually the best man in my wedding 25 years ago, so we go way back. Adam and I go way back when it comes to fishing as well. I started taking him fishing when he was about 4 or 5 years old, and he was addicted back then, and I could see it coming. There was no way he was not gonna get into this trade in some way, shape, or form. So fast forward to today, and Adam is building out his very first boat, which he uses for a commercial fishing boat, a charter fishing boat, and also for his really popular YouTube channel, Movin Weight Fishing.
My name's Adam Mellusi. I'm a charter captain as well as a commercial fisherman, as well as a social media / content creator here in Jupiter, Florida. I was born and raised here in Jupiter, Florida, and I've been fishing literally since I was 1 year old. George will tell you, I was fishing with George since I was about probably 4 years old up until today. And him and my dad used to be real good buddies growing up back in the day, so I kind of got born into that relationship more or less. I started commercial fishing when I was 11 years old with a buddy of mine named Dave Woolley. I knew fishing was my passion. I wanted to make a career out of it. This is also around the same time, I'd probably say 15, 16 years old when I started my YouTube channel, otherwise known as Movin Weight Fishing. And I knew I could make a career on the water, and it was gonna be tough. I didn't know how tough, but starting to learn that now once you get a little bit older. Okay, so I was about 18 years old at the time, and I knew I was ready to get my own rig and run my own operation. I didn't know which boat. I was torn between a Gold Line and a Parker or a Seahawk, because those were the 3 boats that were gonna fit my needs for fishing here every day in Jupiter, Florida. Lo and behold, the one and only George LaBonte sent me a listing on Facebook Marketplace of this 25 Parker SE. So George and I and my father hopped in the truck and drove all the way to the west coast of Florida and went and looked at this boat. Very surreal day for me, the day I bought my first boat. We knew it'd be a project. I didn't know what I had ahead of me. I thought I'd pictured out in my head on the drive back, okay, here's what I'm gonna do there, I'm gonna do this to that. And you just never know what you're gonna get into with a boat, you really don't.
So when Adam brought the boat back over from Cape Coral on the west coast to Jupiter where he lives, he right off the bat knew there was a bunch of stuff that he was gonna need to fix on the boat. Anytime you undertake a project on a boat, that project will invariably reveal 2 more projects that you weren't aware of that are gonna need attention. And this was certainly the case with Adam every step of the way, and he tackled each project as it came.
Today's a very special day because I bought my first boat, and it's a rig. 25 Parker, 1997's Parker SE hull, and it was April 15th, 2021. Put the boat on the side of my pop's salon, and my buddies and I just started attacking it every single day from that point on. We started with de-rigging the whole boat, taking things off the boat, the hardtop, the console, rod holders, electronics, everything had to come off the boat because I really wanted to redesign the whole console. I wanted to redesign the electronics layout. I wanted to redesign some of the fiberglass work. We did fish box work up in the front. I didn't put a new deck in the boat because it didn't need one at the time. I haven't had any soft spots. And it got a new fuel tank in 2018. So I'm hoping that's gonna last me another 10 years or so. And if that's the case, I'd be more than happy to get 10 years out of it. If not, it is what it is. You take that risk when you buy a boat. So today is a very sad day because I am ripping apart my boat right now in the middle of the season. It is June 13th, right? Dead smack in the middle of my season. And I've had a leaky fuel tank for the past couple weeks, and I gotta rip the boat apart. I can't run the boat like this, it's unsafe. I got fuel everywhere, so I'll be showing you some videos of that. So originally when I bought the boat, the whole front end was a casting platform, and it had tackle storage, and it also had storage for life jackets, throwables, you know, fenders, ropes, all that good stuff. But for me, I really needed a big fish box. So I had some help and we got some glass work done to the front of the boat and we redesigned it to a big fish box that holds 1,000 pounds with ice. And that's really what I needed for this boat. So the leaning post that I'm sitting on now, I want to give a shout out. That was built by a buddy of mine, Kevin, over at A&J Welding. He made this whole leaning post right here, and he also made the new supports that go up to the hardtop, the leaning post, and the whole tackle station right here. One thing that I don't have on this boat is a lot of storage, but this is a huge, huge leaning post tackle station, and it allows me to keep everything I need to fish right in here. The live well too, I think it was a 30 or 40 gallon, you know, regular standard recreational live well. I needed something bigger, so we went with a 75 gallon live well that fits perfectly underneath the leaning post. Now, if I were to do it over again, I'd probably go bigger, you know, 150 or so. But at the time, I didn't know how big I needed. And it's gotten me by every single day, but I never have enough bait. I had a metal custom fabrication center redo this hardtop. They made custom feet for this hardtop, and I was able to put, I think, 10 big, deep screws, I think about 4-inch screws, maybe about a 1/2 inch wide on each screw, and suck them into the floor with 5200, and that's 4 of them. So probably about 40 big screws total on this hardtop, which was something that I really needed, you know. I fish in rough weather on this boat. This boat isn't designed to fish in rough weather like those big center consoles with the deep feet. You gotta remember, this is a flat bottom boat, but this boat does it efficiently and we're out there every day, no matter what the conditions are. Something else that we also did to the boat, which is a really nice touch, is my buddy Mark over at Latitude Design has a CNC machine and he creates custom acrylics, you know, custom starboard, hatches, whatever it is he can make. He's got the machine for it and he does an awesome job. All of my hatches were custom made by him, and they're all watertight. They came out really nice and we didn't have to order it online. I could tell him exactly what I wanted. We redesigned the whole dash of the boat, new electronics, autopilot, fly-by-wire motors. What else is on here? VHF, stereo. I mean, we did a ton of really nice things to this boat that it didn't have before, and you know, now she's looking bougie. So the list goes on with things that I did to this boat. Me and a couple of my buddies, Luke Shaw and Ryan Dunham, and my girlfriend did a tiny bit of help, maybe a little bit of sanding for 2 hours. But you know, we spent 2 to 3 weeks sanding this whole boat, the whole inside, and then all of us repainting, without having any prior knowledge on how to paint a boat or what materials you need or the prep work that goes into it, which if you've never done it, it's insane, and I don't recommend doing it. Like, frickin', that was so much work. 4 days, 3 nights. 3 long nights. I think I'm gonna have a mental breakdown. That was a lot. Shout out to Luke at Quest Painting for being a great friend and helped me for 4 days, and Ryan for helping me. Now, it was a cool one-time experience, something that I hope I never have to do again, and I can just call Browntown, tell them to come doctor it up. I'm really gonna enjoy being able to look back and see that I did this with my buddies. But like I was saying, we sanded the whole boat, painted the whole inside, painted the deck, underneath the gunnels, the cap. We laid nonskid on the cap and on the deck, and added a trolling motor to the boat. We installed rod holders. I think we did about 33 rod holders or something, which is a lot for a boat this size, but what's a boat good for if it doesn't have a lot of rod holders?
So oddly enough, one of the things that appeared to be really tight on the boat was the power. The boat came with a set of relatively new 140 horse Suzukis, and that looked like the one thing that didn't need any attention. And as it happened, that might have been a good power option for the boat if you're just driving around, going to the sandbar, doing some light recreational fishing. But for Adam, you know, he's a guy that needs to carry a lot of extra weight when it comes to water for his bait wells, ice for his fish when he's commercial fishing, and he might add 1,000 or 1,500 pounds of fish to the boat. So apparently the 140s weren't going to be suitable for moving weight. Adam needed to repower, and that wasn't something he planned for. he elected to go up to a pair of 200 Suzukis, which made a remarkable difference.
I rely on these motors every single day to make a living. If the prop don't turn, ain't earn. It's not a joke, it's a real saying. You know, if I'm not charter fishing, like I said, I'm commercial fishing. And if these motors were to fail on me or put me out of commission for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, let alone a week, that's a week that I can't make a paycheck. So they've been really reliable for me so far. I've had 0 issues with these Twin 200s, and I've put 800 hours on them in less than a year.
So another major alteration that Adam did to the boat was changing the bracket system. Now, as I said, this was a West Coast boat, and the boat came with a porter bracket. That's a hydraulic scissor bracket that lets you raise and lower the motor. And on the West Coast, that's a much more common application for putting your hanging motors on the back of the boat.
I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again, this Armstrong bracket has really changed the whole looks, fishability, workability, and design of this boat. You know, like I said before, I was standing in ankle-high water every single day, and so were my clients. Now that's not even a possibility. I could have 4 clients back there, I could have a live well on, I could have fish on the deck, whatever it is, water's not coming in. Another benefit is I was really squatting before, let alone with the new motors, but just how the boat's laid out. Now I'm totally level with the new flotation on the Armstrong bracket. So a regular day in the life for me on the boat is waking up around 5 a.m., loading the boat with gas, loading the boat with ice, whether that's me picking up 4 clients and taking them offshore to catch mutton snappers or go drifting offshore, sailfish, dolphin, blackfin tuna. That's a big part of our spring and summertime fishery here in Jupiter, Florida, and it's all live baiting at that. So that's the charter side. The commercial side, you know, a big part of our commercial fishery is going on right now, and that's our commercial king fishery. So if I don't have a charter, 90% of the time I'm going, regardless of the weather, and I'm king fishing, and that's live baiting or trolling for commercial kingfish. We're selling them to the market and making a day's pay. And I'll say it's some of the hardest work you'll ever do in your life. So I'm really happy with how this boat has turned out, especially for it being my first boat. It's been a great boat for me through the past 3 years, and I hope it continues to be down the road. I'm gonna continue to be out there every single day, working on the water and continuing in my career in the fishing industry. And I hope to see you guys out there. If you see me on the water, feel free to say hello. I love all you guys that watch the videos, mission boating and moving weight fishing. And don't forget to follow right behind George LaBonte's boat, whatever he's on, to any spot that he's fishing, and mark his spot.
So at the moment, it would appear that Adam is all set for now as far as doing projects on his Dreamboat here. He's got everything he's really set out to accomplish pretty much in the bag, and the boat is fishable. He's using it on a daily basis. And as we all know, you know, you're never done with projects, but for the time being, Adam has the boat that he really wanted all along. And for a young 21-year-old guy, you know, they just don't make him any more ambitious than him. And I'm glad he's got the boat he wants for now. I know he's got a lot of projects ahead of him because they never end with a boat like this, especially a working boat. But for now, she's gonna have to do. For Mission Boating, I'm George LaBonte. That's it.
Mission Boating, the ultimate marine resource.